And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Chaos Marauders is based on the Warhammer universe from Games Workshop. This game's from Fantasy Flight Games. And it's a card game, which I think the game is going to be confusing for different people. People who like card games, and this is an interesting card game, are going to be a little maybe put off by the odd universe of Warhammer. It has this dark humor almost to it. And people who really like Warhammer, I'm not sure they're really interested in playing this kind of card game. But you might be. For me, this game was okay. But I could see the attraction of it. The people I played it with were split. Some liked it, some didn't. Let's take a closer look at how the game works. Each player unfolds this really long board. See how it's all... it doesn't really matter which side you put out. And puts it in front of them. And this forms one of their battle lines. They're going to be placing cards onto this battle line. Let's see, can I get the whole thing on there? Well, it doesn't really matter. There's the battle line. And they're going to be taking cards from here and placing them in one of their 3 battle lines. This is just to represent your middle battle line, but you can also place cards below and above. And you really can place cards where you want, with some exceptions. The way the game works is, you are going to be taking a card off the top pile here, drawing that card, and then using that card. Most of the time, that card will show you it's worth a certain amount of points, or a certain value. You'll be placing that card in one of these rows, wherever you want to. But other cards will have different things. However, if you draw a card that is the same symbol as a card you've already drawn, you may not place it in that same row. You have to put it in a different row, and your turn's over. Other than that, you can keep drawing, or until you draw a green card, which is a special effect, and you do whatever the card says. For example, this one says you can steal a card from an opponent's battle line and place it in your own battle line. Now, there are 2 different cards that matter here. They are standard cards and musician cards, and these cards go at different ends of the line. When it comes to the standard bearer and the musician, no card can go to the left of a standard bearer, no card can go to the right of a musician. So as you place these cards, they are defining one end of your line. Your line can go all the way up to 12 cards, but it can be as small as you want, although you need to have at least 4 cards in your line. So you're placing these cards down, and obviously if you put your lines together, you'll get them done quicker. However, if you wait longer, you can get more points. Kind of the classic, how long do I wait and put stuff in my deck. When a player finishes a complete battle line, they can use that battle line once per game, as soon as they complete it, to attack another player's incomplete battle line. When they do that, they are comparing the strength of the cards. Each card has a different strength. Roll a die. If they roll this red-looking symbol, they've won. All the purple cards in the opponent's line are discarded, and they steal the rest. If they roll this chaos symbol, then they have routed them, and all purple and gray cards are discarded, and they get to keep the rest. Either way, you can only attack an incomplete line, so you want to complete a line as quickly as possible. So the game also comes with this die, and it comes with a bunch of these pieces, little cone pieces, which are used for certain cards. I also want to mention there's a few cards in the deck. There's all different sorts of cards, but these are an interesting cards in the sense of, you see this? There's a crew here. I have 2 pieces of a bomber and a bomber crew. If you manage to get all 3 of those in the same line together, they're worth extra points at the end of the game. Other cards like this spoil heap are worth a certain amount of points at the end of the game. The first person who finishes their battle line, all 3 battle lines, is going to get points. Then you also get points for how big each battle line is. If it's 5 to 6 cards, you get 50 points. If it's 7 to 8 cards, you get 100 points. But if you go all the way up to 12 cards, you'll get 200 points. Each card then is worth 10 points. The machine sets are worth, like that bomber I just showed you, are worth points. You get points for having different kinds of cards in your deck, like spoils, or there's some other cards which are just simply worth points. And whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. Games take place in around 30 minutes or so, and they're very fast and fun. You're just drawing cards from the deck. That's all you're doing here. Draw, place, draw, place, draw, place. Aha! Finish the line, attack. And it is a little more fun than that. I don't mean to make the game sound boring at all, but there is a certain amount of luck to it. As you draw the cards from the deck, you don't know what you're going to get, and you could just keep drawing garbage for example, the bomber crew here, when you play that, you get to take wherever the bombers are and add them to your line. So if I get both pieces of the bomber and you draw the bomber crew, you've just stolen my hard work. But be that as it may, the game still has some fun. There's humor on the cards. The pictures are for the most part pretty funny. And you're trying to get them on a table. There's one card that's super powerful, but if you put it out, someone else yells the name of it, they can steal it from you immediately. So everyone's looking ready for that card to be played. Just the idea of putting cards in lines, matching symbols or not. But eventually there is an attack. Now, does it feel like Warhammer? Not even remotely. Does it feel like a war game? Not really even a chance of that. But there is some entertainment value in the game, and if the card game sounds interesting to you and you are a fan of this theme, then it's a match. Other than that, I would say there's probably more people that I would not recommend it to than that I would. And for myself, I like the game and the theme I find okay. They just seem to clash. It just doesn't seem to work as well as I would want it to. So this one, I'm merely giving an okay to.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.